Okay, you guys, I have not watched a video yet with this guy in it for the channel, but I am familiar with Bobcat, oh my gosh, Bob Goldthwait. But didn't they call him Bobcat? Whatever. My first exposure to this dude was through the Police Academy movies. That's probably been the only time I've ever been exposed to him, unless I did see any sort of stand-up stuff that he might have done. I honestly don't remember if I have seen him do stand-up. But I never forgot him from the Police Academy movies because of that crazy sort of like talk yell that he used to do. And what happened? The subject came up. Oh, the Police Academy movies came up during at least two of the live stream or recorded sessions we did where we were talking about movies from the 80s, and we got to a few years where it was, Police Academy 2, Police Academy 3, whatever. And I can't remember if I mentioned Bobcat at the time, but every time I think of Police Academy, I think of Bobcat. Yeah, no, surely that's his name, Bobcat. I keep calling him that, so surely that's his name. Or did I just make that up out of thin air? I'm going to have to research that after I'm done. But anyway, whatever. So not long after I did those videos, I saw this just randomly popped up on my feed. I think my computer is listening to me. This randomly popped up on my YouTube feed. It's a video that says Comic Bob Goldthwait in a very funny interview. I don't know how funny it's going to be. I really have no clue what I'm getting myself into. I looked through the comments to see if people were going to remark on how funny this actually was, but I didn't really see any specifics as far as that. So let's go ahead and jump into it. It's about 10 minutes and 17 seconds long, so it's a bit on the sort of kind of lengthy side. Not horrible, but let's go ahead and see how funny this really is.
And Bob Goldthwait joins us this morning. How are you, Bob?
Oh, it's a stellar morning. I don't know you're going to show us good. You're extremely well read and too nice. How can I be bombastic? I was looking forward to tear you to shreds.
Oh,
go ahead.
Okay, well, actually, I got Tom on interview me. I used to live in Boston, and I've been a big fan of his hair for such a long time. I was really looking forward to it. He's right over there. He might just come over and clock me. Let's see if I can't get him that annoyed.
You can't. He's too nice.
Is he?
Yeah.
Is he like Gandhi?
No.
That's kind of a breaking point. Let's see. Poke fun at the old tomcat till he snaps on me.
3 hours sleep you got last night.
Yeah, I think I look pretty good.
You do. Yeah. Come.
I'm here because I'm hawking some gig because I'm a shameless whore and I just go around and promote all my shows. Where am I?
You're in Boston.
No, I remember I'm performing tonight in New Hampshire.
Right, Club Casino.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't drive. No, I don't think I'd ever get that.
You always like this?
What do you mean?
Even as a kid? A comic? A funny?
No, I was voted most likely to be a sniper when I was a kid in grammar school and all that.
Yeah, you were nuts. You took a girl to a prom with you. You were wearing roller skates, I read.
I really, but they leave that out in the stories. Everyone had them. It was at a roller rink.
Oh.
No, not really. They faked you out.
You faked me out.
Yeah,
you had a baby, I'm trying to be subtle because I don't want the kid coming out.
Your father.
How pregnant are you?
I'm
extremely.
Yes. Very pregnant. Yeah, is that all right?
It's pretty exciting, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
I pounded out a young one.
You have a little girl?
Yeah. I'm kind of it's a little nervous me being a father because I'm not going to age gracefully.
Why?
I don't know. Having me for a dad's kind of like having Curly as a father.
Okay, so one thing about the way that he does his thing, it's so funny because he sounds like he's yelling and crying at the same time, the way he's got that little waver in his voice. That must really bother his throat to talk that way. I want to hear him talk in a normal voice, and it would probably sound so funny because every time I see his face, and I'm sure I've probably seen him in something normal before as far as the way he talks, but it's not coming to me right now, and most of the time I just see like a picture of him, whatever, and I just associate that voice with him. But what was I getting ready to say? Oh, I know what I was getting ready to say. Shoot. Hold on a second, you guys. I have to take my asthma medicine. Okay. So what I was trying to get around to saying is I have to focus very hard to make sure that I understand everything he's saying because of the voice inflections that he does and the up and down and so it's like if he's not saying the words really clear, I have to really focus. And then I'm afraid if I laugh, I won't hear what he's going to say. Like I won't fully process what he's saying next. So I might not be terribly animated in this one as far as my reactions, just because I am really focusing on his words. Okay.
Age gracefully. You
Why?
know? I don't know. Having me for a dad's kind of like having Curly as a father.
Oh,
You know?
okay.
Yeah. People are going, "That's your dad," and she'll be going. I'll be like, actually, when she's old, I'll be going, "How come your friends never pick you up at the door? Why do you always have to meet them at the end of the driveway? You embarrassed the old man?" I
No.
tell you, that acting crazy. That paid for your braces, Susie Q. Get in the house. We're gonna watch Police Academy 50.
You don't call it Police Academy.
Police lobotomy.
Why?
You know, it's kind of funny. You show that clip, my entire dialogue on that whole clip was, You know, I'll be studying my lines all day, walking around,
And they paid you for that.
Yeah, I
Well-
know. It's like, I'm the highest paid wino, I know.
You've been compared to Lenny Bruce. Do you like that?
I think the only thing I have in common with Lenny Bruce is that I can clear a room really quick, and I seem to offend a lot of people, but, I guess that's okay.
Is the screaming and being angry? People relate to that, don't they?
I don't know. I mean, people. This new term, screaming comics. I'm getting out of that. I'm the mumbling comic now.
Oh, okay.
I'm just going to be blah 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 blah.
I know some people who can relate to that.
Well, you know, my name is Bob Goldthwait, and now people kind of know me a little bit from like HBO and stuff. So people who I don't know will come up to me and they go, "Hey, you Bob Gold?" Oh, geez, you know, the yum 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 is silent, but you took the time to pronounce it.
It's a tough name.
It's a very tough name. You said you wanted to talk about the concert things. What was that?
What the concert things you're
He's trying to
doing?
get things back on
Contra,
track.
you were saying.
Oh yeah.
I've hocked those gigs. I don't want to be rude, but I really don't think I'm tapping my market here anyways. I don't think there's not a bunch of women going, "Put that clothes down, stop folding. We got to get the Bobcat tickets."
Okay, it is Bobcat.
Yes, I don't want to be rude,
Go
but
by
there's a lot of
Bob.
women making sandwiches right now.
Oh.
Thank God ours didn't turn out that way, huh?
And I'll shred you to pieces. As I know better.
I push all your buttons.
See?
I can eat a snack.
All right. Sale of arms to Iran. How do you feel about that?
I'm just completely confused by the whole thing. I was more confused by Allie North, because he showed up.
Oh, this must have been during the time of the Iran-Contra scandal. Okay, that's just, it kind of came out of the blue that she asked him this completely very serious political question. I'm like, whoa, what? Okay.
I'm just completely confused by the whole thing. I was more confused by Allie North, because he showed up. I guess he got fired, but he's still in the service. It just freaked me out because he showed up in his uniform, and I got confused. I thought he got fired, but then again, I was thinking, like he's getting ready, going, "Gee, what should really impress America? What outfit should I wear?
Sure.
My old Burger King uniform? Nah, that won't get him. Hey, look at this one though. It scares me. People saying he's a hero.
Yeah.
He's a hero, and I'm an Amway rep.
He sounds like his normal ways there.
When you were a kid, you did some drinking and drugging and stuff, right?
Yeah, I just saw one of your adverts.
Yeah,
I
don't be
couldn't-
pushed.
Well, I was confused. It's just people cutting tomatoes, and it says, "Don't take drugs." I'm going, I never got loaded over a tomato. I never saw a tomato. Produce! I better start shooting smack. I mean, I didn't understand where the thought line was going there.
Why'd you quit?
I couldn't get any tomatoes. I don't know. It was just so bizarre. I quit because I wanted to die, you know? I didn't quit because I was sitting at home and Nancy Reagan said, "Just say no," you know, "Oh, silly me," you know? "Thanks for solving the problem of addiction," you know? It's pretty weird right now. You watch Rock Against Drugs on MTV, Rad, and it's
Right.
like Motley Crue telling me not to take drugs.
That's not the message you're going to buy, huh?
Yeah, Motley Crue's drug problem is not finding any after a show.
That's food for thought. You say you were raised in...
See, but I'd rather take my kids to see Sid and Nancy than to have, like, Nancy Reagan tell me not to take drugs. I mean, Nancy, you know. Bob Hope announced his anti-drug campaign last weekend, and I remember reading a Rolling Stone where Bob Hope talked about how he used to smoke pot, right? So I'm thinking, if Bob Hope really wants kids to get off drugs, just say, "Hey, I'm Bob Hope, I smoke pot." No 13-year-old in the world would smoke dope. Hey, want a hit? They're going, "Oh,
Be
wait,
uncool.
Bob Hope?" No. You know, hey, quit hoping it, man.
You were raised in the 70s. And
what
there's
a horrible, horrible time to grow up. I grew up with like disco and Casey and the Sunshine Band, you know.
memories.
Well, my generation's never gonna go, geez, wouldn't that be great if like they had a Kiss reunion, original members, you know?
You don't think they ever will?
Oh, they probably will. They're capitalist whores, yeah.
You had a cable television when
Okay.
you were 8 years old. And what did that do to you?
I mean, come on, Bobcat. What the heck? You're doing the same sort of thing. You're involved in, you know, business and capitalism the same sort of way. I don't get that. I don't get people that benefit from capitalism the most are some of the biggest haters of capitalism. It makes no sense. Like, what is it, a guilt complex or something? That just, all right, whatever. I mean, it's capitalism that got him his success. Okay, here we go.
Well, they're capitalist whores, yeah.
You had a cable television when you were 8 years old. And what did that do to you?
Unless that's just part of his sort of, like his style as far as the comedy stuff. I can't tell how serious he's being sometimes. I mean, he's still got that voice thing going on, but is some of the stuff he's interjecting in the conversation serious stuff, or is it just all jokey? Is he just being, I don't know. Sometimes I can't tell when to take a comedian seriously because they know that very serious subject matter is hidden within their comedy, and sometimes that's how they get their message across about how they feel about things is through comedy. So they are being serious about it to an extent. I mean, I know it's comedy, but it also has a message. And a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times.
Well, they're capitalist whores, yeah.
You had a cable television when you were 8 years old. And what did that do to you?
Developed my fingers really well, like, you know what I mean?
You're switching.
Yeah, I have the mind span of a gnat.
You said that, Bob. I would never
Well,
say that.
I don't understand what I do. People in interviews now, they go, what's your philosophies on life? You know, and asking a person in a movie, it's just, ask Christ, ask Gandhi how to live. Don't ask me or Judd Nelson
I
how
didn't
to live.
ask you how to
I know,
live.
you've been very nice.
I'm not going to ask you how to live.
Okay,
You
go
grew
ahead.
up in the ignorance is bliss generation,
good
you said.
point
Your club,
he made
right?
there.
Pretty much. I mean, there was nothing really inviting. No reasons really to be in a newspaper when I grew up. It was just all war. I found myself reading it now just because there's just so much material. But you know, it's just scary. You know.
You get your material from the
Yeah,
newspaper?
Ron's nose. You know, geez, it was a touch and go for a while. We were all nervous. You know, did he pull through? I'm gonna clean this up. You really can't put your nose where he does without getting sick somewhere. Never mind. There we go.
Oh.
Wow.
Your father was a practical joker and a funny man, but you didn't even know it was adult comedy, did you?
No, I didn't. My father scared me very much because he would do suburban performance art, is what I would call it. He'd like climb up on top of the refrigerator and really, you would think he was going to dive into a bowl of mayonnaise. And I'd be 6 years old, I'd be crying. Dad would really sell it, you know? He wouldn't like come out and say, I'm just kidding. I'd be like, going, oh, my dad's going to die.
My
But I was standing there already with like, you know, some tomatoes and 2 pieces of bread in case he was actually that foolish. So my father never commits suicide. I don't really think about suicide. I guess it's healthy to talk about it, but if I was going to commit suicide, what I'd do is I'd go to one of these NRA guys, like, we need more weapons. I'm living in Los Angeles now. You get shot in traffic.
I know.
I'm like getting sentimental for the old days where you used to just have to lay around at home to get shot, you know? So it's like NRA, I don't really think we need more rifles. In England, 13 people die every year from gun wounds. And here, it's like 250,000 die in New York. And so that means gun laws work, or the people in England can't hit the broadside of a barn. You know, it's like, freeze! But if I was going to commit suicide, I'd go to one of these NRA guys' house, and I'd wake him up in the middle of the night, steal his gun, and go, well, why don't you explain this? Boom! See the beauty of that? I'd be dead in his living room. The cops come. He goes, he just came in here.
So what do we go to the police?
Call the police?
Yeah.
Tell them what?
Oh, I would tell them what happened.
That's a good idea, Dale. Oh, howdy ho, officer. We've had a doozy of a day. There we were minding our own business, just doing some chores around the house when kids started killing themselves all over my property.
Well, that's what happened, Tucker.
It's foolish.
Okay.
All the guns shooting. You know, if you have a gun, you got a bigger chance of getting shot.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks they're going to be like Maverick when someone breaks through. That guy's going to kill you.
All right. He's getting into some serious subject matter here for sure. But you also have a better chance to defend yourself. oh, I could go on about stuff like that. The Jim Jeffries video that I uploaded that ended up getting blocked. It's the only video that has been blocked permanently, no matter how often I tried to get a counter notification sent to Netflix, because it was Netflix that did it. YouTube refused to send it to me, even though refused to send it to them, even though I use the exact same language that I have used in other counter notifications that YouTube passed along happily. So anyway, maybe at some point I'll take that video and kind of, whittle it down a little bit, but Netflix refused to honor fair use on that completely, absolutely completely. But Jim Jeffries' thing about gun control, I shared quite a few thoughts about that afterwards, and so it's kind of like sparking that memory in me that that he's talking about this. Yeah, that's definitely a subject matter that I could get into a bit. I'm just going to try to finish playing this.
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks they're gonna be like Maverick when someone breaks through. That guy's gonna kill you, pal.
Forget the
He's got a
gun.
disadvantage. I mean, you're at total disadvantage. You're just laying there.
Forget the gun.
Well, I don't know. Then other times, guns do save people's lives, so it's,
Oh,
I don't know.
we
I have
balanced
no
it out.
Oh, jeez.
Are you okay?
I'm fine.
A woman in your condition shouldn't be this close to me.
Should be laughing. You've been interested in things like paranormal phenomenon. Now, why?
Because I want to know where my hair's going. I'm 25 years old, and it's like falling out at an alarming rate.
This has the answer.
Oh, he's only 25 here, you guys. Holy cow. He looks to me like he's in his 30s.
Maybe someone's stealing my hair.
Maybe.
I keep finding hairs in my mouth, and I'm going bald. Are they going all the way through my head? Like, mental floss.
She's snorting. He's like,
so you're
hanging there, man.
So you're on the road, right?
Yeah, it's not glorious.
She can hardly hold it
like
together.
a Bob Seger song.
It's not.
No, it's oh man.
It's tough, huh?
No, it's just it's like I do interviews and stuff, and I don't remember them. I don't want to be rude. I'll remember this one though.
Are you sure? Right.
This is really special.
All right, all those.
They said I was going to be on the Today Show.
You are the Good Day.
I did it.
The Good Day show today.
What if it's like today's kind of crummy? So wouldn't it be kind of like mediocre day show? Not an interview, but it's raining and stuff.
It is rain. It's a mediocre day.
You're
But you brightened it
I
up.
used to people going. I have to talk to a gentleman, and they poke me with a stick.
Well, you just made a lot of fans out there calling all the women that watch us folding clothes women.
That was very sexist, wasn't it?
That was very sexist.
oh, geez, okay. That's funny. Okay, well, that was more enjoyable than I thought it would be, but the way his mind goes is really funny to me. The way he thinks, the way he does that voice, his facial expressions, and sometimes he looks like he's about ready to cry when he's talking. But dang, it's been so long since I've seen him in this persona, like that sort of. Does he do that still? I wonder. I really feel like I need to look up some videos of him, some recent videos of him. I saw a recent-ish video of him floating around on YouTube a while back, a few weeks or months ago. And I didn't play it. I'm trying to remember now what it was about. Maybe it was about Police Academy. I don't recall. But I really feel like now I'm curious to go check out his more recent stuff and find out what he's doing, if he's still doing this sort of thing. I just can't imagine that would be something that would be easy to keep up with. I mean, I guess if he does it a certain amount of time, he's kind of trained his voice to be able to handle that. There was an audiobook project that Jeff, the guy that I work with, well, I work with different people, but the one who runs the company, well, I don't know if I should say he runs the company, but he's like the head of the company. We got a bunch of people that work to run the company. Anyway, there was a book that he worked on. Oh, I cannot remember the name of it. Shoot. I proofed the first 2 books. Anyway, when he did the first one, he decided that he was going to narrate in this super deep, deep voice. And his voice is not super, super deep. And he did that whole book in this very, very deep, like really just into the vocal cords, really back there. And he ended up getting an ulcer in his throat because of that. But when he went and did the second book, that ulcer didn't happen. And I wonder if it was just, I mean, I guess it's just because his throat, his voice, his vocal cords were used to that. He had sort of exercised them in a way that it didn't bother him to do that again, to do a full-length novel narration using this deep voice. I mean, he does deep voice characters in some of his, you know, different books and stuff. So anyway, I wonder if he still does something like this, if Bobcat still does something like this, if his throat has just gotten used to it. But I can't imagine that putting your vocal cords through that and it's not your natural voice. I just can't imagine that that would be something that you can sustain for years. So I'd be surprised if he is still doing this on a regular basis. This is just me blathering off the top of my head. I need to go check out for myself and see what I can find. Anyway, this was fun. Just something different that I felt like checking out before I forgot about it. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope. I don't know how many of you know of him. I'm sure several of you probably do, but I don't know. Maybe for some of you he's new. I can't imagine. Because anybody who watches my videos about watches my stand-up comic reactions or my comedy reactions, I imagine that almost all of you guys probably know these people that I'm checking out. And for me, most of the time, they're people I've never heard of, but like I said, I was aware of him before I watched this. Anyway, it was good to see this. This was kind of fun. No, not kind of. It was fun. Okay, you guys, I don't have anything else, so I'm going to go ahead and call it quits. Later.